What's going on, boys? Different scenery today, and that's because it's a Saturday night. I'm sitting in the back of the gym recording this video for you, because if I don't make this video, then you're going to be stuck in the same place for the rest of your life. And I know that you want to make a change. In fact, you need to make the change. You've got this spark in your belly that you want to turn into a fire in your belly, but you are struggling to do so. And so I've made this video to help you become more consistent with the gym. I go to the gym on autopilot now. I don't think about it, I just do it. It's just a part of who I am. And everyone with a nice physique does the exact same. But it never came so natural to me. In fact, I started going to the gym at 14 years old and only became consistent at about 22, 23, 24. So it took me almost 10 years to become consistent. So I know what it's like to be so on and off at the gym. I'd go every single year for a week and then stop, for a month and then stop, for 6 months and then stop. And a huge issue was the fact that I was relying on motivation to get to the gym. But when you're relying on motivation, you might not feel like going to the gym, or motivation might not last long, and then you stop going. And that's a massive issue, because you're never going to achieve consistency if you're always relying on motivation. I would always think about the type of the physique that I'd want. That would motivate me for a few weeks or for a few months. I'd always think about where I am and how I want to run away from where I am and become a better version of myself, and that would motivate me for a few weeks or a few months. But that never lasted. And motivation does have its place, 110%. I'm not saying motivation is bad, but when you solely rely on motivation, then you are not going to achieve what it is that you want, and that is to be somebody who sticks to their word, who does what they say they're going to do, who follows through. Because once you do follow through, once you do what you say you're going to do, you build that identity of the type of man that you actually are supposed to be. And that gives you so much more confidence to go through life. And so you need to stop relying on motivation, and you need to start relying on this very simple system that I'm going to teach you today. Now, in 2021, January 6th was my first ever long-term career, long-term job, and I started working as an estate agent in West Hampstead. But that, even though I said it was long-term and I thought it was at the time, that only lasted 2 months, because I was doing well. I agreed 9 deals. I was loving life, to be honest with you. But then my dad called me up. He was living in Israel, still is. And he said to me that he's starting a new business. And I said, how much money am I going to make? And it was considerably more than what I was making as an estate agent. So I said, fuck it, I'm going. And I started chasing the money rather than actually chasing my purpose. And eventually I had to leave Israel, and that's when I came back to England and became a coach. But one huge thing that I learned from being an estate agent is structure. Adding structure to my day helped me so much more long term, and it's what I use to this day, and it's what you even use, and it's what all my clients use. But you only use it at work. You only use it when you're told to use it. And that's why you need me to tell you today that you need to use this structure if you want to go to the gym on autopilot. When you jump in the office and you start your day at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., you've got your calendar right in front of you, right in front of your face. And you have to block in times that you're going to do things. For example, you'll be like 9 to 10 team meeting, 10 till 11 cold calls, 11 to 12 emails, and you block in a bunch of times throughout your day to get shit done, because otherwise you're not going to get it done. You might forget, you might get distracted, things might get in the way. You're human. Of course that's going to happen. That's why you block it in, so you can actually follow through. But has it ever occurred to you that you need to block in the time that you're going to go to the gym? So these 2 months that I worked as an estate agent, I would block in everything that I was doing throughout the day. That was my diary. But when I moved to Israel and I was working with my dad and we had our own business, I didn't have to answer to anyone bar my dad. And obviously my dad's going to be a little bit chill with me. So I had to kind of take things in my own stride. And that meant making my own calendar, not just for work, but for the rest of the things that I do throughout the day. Because I wanted to start going to the gym more, and I started going to the gym more. But with work being there every single day, I was like, when am I going to find time to go to the gym? So I started writing down in my notes what time I'm going to be working, what time I'm going to sleep, what time I'm going to wake up. And then it occurred to me, like, what if I just write down what time I'm going to go to the gym? And that was one of the biggest shifts in me becoming consistent and actually achieving this physique that I have today. And without this, I can't tell you that I would have been here right now, because you forget about what's important sometimes as life moves so fast, so quick. Things come up, you get distracted, your emotions get in the way. You want to go to the gym, but then you don't, you forget, you get tired, you CBA, work's hard, you need sleep. And so having it in the diary, writing down the exact time that you're going to work out, means that when it gets to that time, just like you would at work, you stick to your diary. And that's exactly how you're going to be able to follow through and actually have the gym on autopilot. Because the thing is, you have goals, you want to be consistent, you want to be somebody who follows through, you want a nice physique. You're not looking to be a bodybuilder. You don't care that much about training, but you know it's good for you. You know you need to. You know you want to be strong. You know it's going to benefit you, not just physically, but mentally. You have all of these goals. But unfortunately, you don't rise to the goals. You fall to your systems. And if you don't have the right systems in place, then you're not going to be successful with anything in life. And so adding this structure, adding this system into your daily tasks, your daily habits, is going to really help you be successful in the gym. And what this requires is something very simple. The night before you go to sleep, you look at your day, the next day, you see what time you're working, what time you're starting your day, what time you're finishing your day. Where can I find an hour and a half, if you're thinking about the commute as well? Where can I find an hour in my day where I can work out and go to the gym? And you just simply write down the time that you're going to go. And when it gets to that time, you just continue following what you've written down in your diary. You don't book a viewing at 3 p.m. with a client and then not go, because it's in your diary. You know you have to go. And so when it gets to that point of, okay, it's 3 p.m., I got to go, you're going to go. You're going to go because you've written it down, and that's exactly what you're going to do. Writing down the time that you're going to go to the gym. Because this will help you Be consistent. This will help you stay on track and actually build the physique that you want and build the life that you want. Trust me, I know what it's like to be on and off. I know what it's like to look in the mirror and not be happy with what you have. And I know what it's like to say you're going to go to the gym, but then not go because you're tired, because you can't be asked, because your mate wants to go out for a drink, or you want to go out for dinner all of a sudden. So once you pencil that in your diary and you do that 3 days a week, every single week, you will consistently start going to the gym. And look, that's just a piece of the puzzle. Of course, there's a lot more to it. But you know, if you start doing one thing correctly, you can then continue moving forward into the right direction and become the man that you're destined to become. So if you start doing that, it's Saturday night, I'm going to post this right now. And if you start doing that from tomorrow, from Sunday, or from Monday, or from whenever you actually watch this, and you do that 3 days a week, you will begin to be consistent at the gym. I know it sounds very simple, but trust me, it's the simple shit that works. Anyways, I'll put a link down in the description if you want to book a call and talk about one-to-one coaching. But I'm going to make another video very soon on how you can also, other ways to help you consistently go to the gym and follow through.